Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com, and I will look at some of the most popular futures markets out there that people are interested in trading. And this will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. One quick clarification, I'll be using the 1 hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 1 hour worth of time. So the first dynamic here to point out, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the previous video I did, but I talked about that area right there, that red line as resistance, and you can see price got the break up through there. I don't think I noticed it, but we are taking a look at the NQ here, so I apologize. We are looking at the NQ, but got the break right there, big move up, and now it's pulling back, but a key rule in charting is that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support, which is actually a very key level now, an interesting level, because check out where the purple line there, which on my chart represents the 50 period moving average. The purple line and that former breakout point are basically right at the same value. So that'll be an interesting dynamic as things continue to play out. Assuming this pulls back, does the price pull back enough where this area right here could come into play? And when I say area, I just mean a general, component, something like that. It's not going to be down to the exact tick, but just like I said, general area. But that's a very interesting level, at least that I know I'll be keeping an eye on. If there is any sort of bigger pullback, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. So in terms of nearer term levels of support, though, if you're looking to be a little bit more aggressive with the buying any sort of pullbacks, that level right there at the 906.50 mark, form a little breakout point. That could be another, potential bounce area. But nonetheless, like I said, these two would be the main levels from the support standpoint. And then in terms of areas of resistance, right up here where the sellers finally stepped in today, up around the 83.75-ish mark would be the key level to watch if this thing does try to break upwards. And then the very, very near term, you have this little bull flag pattern that has formed, so we'll see if the price can get a break up through there or not. But from more of an overarching standpoint, these are definitely the levels that I think you could very well construct some good quality trade plans around. Next one here, we are looking at the ES, and once again, these are levels from yesterday's video, and overall, big, huge movement today. Although as I speak right now, this hourly candle right here, quite a bit of a pullback. That's not ruining the chart or anything like that, but it does prompt the question, is there more of a pullback to come? So on that note, going to go ahead and get rid of that level down there and just do that first key update, which I just talked about. When levels of resistance are broken and closed above, they tend to act as support. So we'll keep an eye on that. So 87.25, very interesting level. Once again, that purple line, 50 period moving average, keyword being moving, because at some point over the next foreseeable period of time, that line is going to move up some more, and then it's all of a sudden going to be right around that value. So same general idea. There are no guarantees, but this area, if the price could come down here, could you get some sort of bounce? That is certainly not a guarantee, but a more than rational and plausible thought process to have. So keep an eye on that with any sort of deeper pullbacks. In the near term, though, as far as supports are concerned, I think that's a very interesting level there at the 107 mark. And then in terms of areas of resistance, very straightforward. The price just could not make any sort of progress at all once it got up around that 135 mark. So keep an eye on 135. Like I said, nothing fancy there. It's just very straightforward. Just price continually knocked its head on that level. So keep a close eye there from a resistance standpoint. But overall, you can see trend still very much so in the bullish direction. Next one here, the YM, and we actually have a perfect example of what I've been talking about. But first, let me just get rid of these lines down here as they've served their purpose. But I've been talking about how when levels of resistance are broken, you want to see them. They can tend to act as support. And check this out again. We'll mean a little bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video. But I talked about this level of resistance right here at 274. It was broken. So when those levels are broken, you would expect to act, and you want to see them act as support. And check it out what happened today. Beautiful bounce. Beautiful bounce. Beautiful bounce. Stayed within the general vicinity, but fake breakdown and then snap back up. So just a classic example of how you want these things to behave. So moving forward, 274, last time I did the video, was a resistance. Now with the price up above it and with the track record of it already providing support, you ideally want to see 274 continue to provide that bounce area. If the price were to fall down below there, then not that far away, you do have the purple line there, 50 period moving average. But as of right now, definitely that level has become a very straightforward and very kind of historical level, relatively speaking, in terms of behaving where the buyers are hanging out. And then in terms of where the seller's hanging out, very cut and dry here. I mean, check that out right up there at 413. Once, twice, three times, four times, basically 5 times, and if you want to count these, so between, and like I said, 5, 6, 7, so 5 to 7 times, depending on how you want to count it, the price has been up around that area, and every time has been smacked down. So that's certainly going to be the main level that everybody's going to be watching moving forward. So we'll see if the price can push up through there, and if it does, then more than valid to think that, even if you just want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, could create additional buying pressure. Next one here, taking a look at oil, CL, and talked about this previously, had this bear pennant drawn into play, and you can see that played out, got the break right there. Now, was this like a disastrous break? It was not, but the power of charts, it still did break down before kind of snapping right back up and then coming back down. But overall, the bear pennant did ultimately play out. But now we have another one of these areas where, goodness, self-fulfilling prophecy, whatever you want to call it, you got to think that people that use charts have drawn that trend line. And I make that comment because when a lot of people have drawn the exact same trend line and are watching the exact same thing, wondering the exact same thing, self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can certainly produce some dynamic movement. So moving forward, that's going to be the level where if the price does break through it, no guarantees, but more than valid to think that that break right there could create a whole nother wave of momentum to the downside. So certainly keep an eye on that. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, let's get this level into play right there. And I'm sorry, this should be green because that's an area of support right now. So we have essentially this wedge formation. But moving forward, a decision is still going to need to be made because, as you're seeing here, this wedge is running out of room. So eventually somebody's going to need to win the battle, whether that's the Bulls or the Bears. But a decision will need to be made and will probably have been made by the time I get this updated again about 24 hours from now. If the price does break down through the bottom part of the pattern right there, next key area of support or a potential area that it could bounce from, going to be down here right around the 74.95 mark. But yeah, as of right now, not looking so good for the Bulls. Next one here, taking a look at gold, GC, and overall this continues to grind higher and higher. We have a pretty well-defined area that, it's not totally clean cut, but right up there, give or take around 774, has been an area where there just has not been able for any sort of sustained momentum to really build upon itself. It's not exact. Oh, I guess a couple times it was exact, but there were plenty of times where the price almost got there and couldn't quite push further. But just generally speaking, right up around this area has been a problem where the Bulls, like I said, just cannot build or maintain any sort of momentum. So continue to watch that as the main area of resistance. And then in levels, in terms of areas of support, one level here that you got to think again. A lot of people have probably drawn that trend line there, so you could get some self-fulfilling prophecies with that. But even if the price does break through there, it's not like the entire chart's destroyed. But a break right through there, I think very realistically sends the price down to at least test that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. Now, if the price were to drop down below the 50-period moving average, am I saying it drops straight down to the 200-period? I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is things could certainly get a little bit spicier in a hurry because there is quite a bit of open space on the chart. But you also don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because as of right now, the price hasn't even violated that trend line right there. But overall, keep an eye on these two near-term levels of support. And then, yeah, 774 going to be that main battleground as resistance. So that wraps up the analysis, and before I go, I do want to invite you to get signed up for my private community if you are a futures trader and you're looking for other quality futures traders, and you know it is not free, but it's amazing what a very small price tag of $99 will do to keep out the trolls and the riffraff and ensure that it is a good, serious group of people, and that is not $99 per month, it's $99 for every 3 months. So if you do the math, it breaks down to $8.25 per week, and as I always say, I can't say you're guaranteed to have success, but I'm very confident that you'll get at least $8.25 of value per week. So like I said, if you are looking for a serious group of futures traders to trade with, to talk with, and network with, then definitely consider going to claytrader.com/team and learning more. So thanks for watching. If you appreciate these videos, if you would like for me to continue to do them, please do a couple things for me. Hit that like button and make sure that you consider hitting that subscribe button as it really does help out. So take care. Have a good one.